If they see you flinch, they see you as a wounded sheep. They smell blood. This is a merciless rule of the game. The one who defends himself devalues himself. The universe is forced to defend the one who does not. Let's be clear. Defending yourself rarely convinces anyone. The only thing you gain in the end is the power and authority you lost. Because when you try to legitimize your actions, you are playing on their turf. You are accepting the lines they have drawn. You unwittingly fall into this position. You have the right to question me. And once they seize that right, they become the owners of the power and authority. Even if you are right, you look guilty, because only the weak do everything they can to explain. The strong allow silence to clear the path for them. They allow the accusation to hang in the air untouched because they realize the real move is this. Turn the accusation into a mirror. Make them doubt themselves. Make them look overly emotional. Make them look obsessive, resentful, uncontrolled. Because the first to speak, in large part, loses control of the frame. And never forget, whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. Most people defend themselves because they want to prove they are right. They believe if they explain enough, clarify enough, repeat enough, they will be proven right. But this belief stems not from strategy, but from emotional weakness. You do not want clarity. You want control. Clarity is for calmness. Control is for power. And power does not come from being understood. It comes from being feared, respected, and untouchable. So when someone calls you egotistical, emotionless, selfish, manipulative, and you immediately say, "No, you're wrong," you have already lost, because now you are reacting. Now you are signaling to everyone that you care about someone's thoughts. Now you have thrown the ball into their court. And when you do this, you lose the most strategic and powerful thing you possess: mystery. Think of the most powerful and respected people you have encountered, not the loudest, not the most liked. The ones who use silence like a weapon, an ace. The ones who make you doubt yourself with just a look. The ones who never waver when someone tries to assert authority over them. Engrave this rule in the best part of your mind. The one who explains, obeys. The one who remains silent forces others to move, and they usually magnify you in their eyes. This is the game. When you don't react and don't care, they become uncomfortable. They start to doubt themselves. They look around for validation, but find none. Suddenly, their power weakens while yours strengthens. Because you did the one thing no emotional, ordinary person can handle. You made them talk to themselves. And that is how you reversed the power. You made their accusations disappear in the echo of their own weakness. Let's go deeper. You enter a room. Someone takes a shot at you, veiled or direct. Everyone turns to you to see how you will respond and awaits your move. Say nothing. No defense, no condescending look, no sarcastic smile, just calm, absolute stillness. In that moment, you become untouchable because everyone in the room now starts thinking, why didn't he react? Does he know something we don't? Is something else on his mind? You just inverted all social dynamics because people don't even care about the accusation. They are curious about your reaction. And silence, when projected with good posture, speaks louder than any explanation. One must understand a fundamental law of power. Power is not what you say. It is what people believe you could say, but choose not to. Now, we come to the most effective move. Sometimes you don't just ignore the accusation. You reverse it. Someone calls you manipulative. You smile, look them in the eye, and say, if you see it that way, then it is. Not defensive, not apologetic, just a cool, neutral stance. What happens next? Their little fantasy bursts, because they were expecting a fight. They were hoping to watch you in a fight. Instead, their hands are left empty, like a poor child whose toy was stolen. That's when the guilt begins for them. And guess what? They look insecure. You just took the arrow they threw at you and fired it back without even lifting a finger. There is a moment when the silence becomes unbearable. Not for you, but for the people awaiting a reaction. That is when the roles reverse. They thought they were the accusers. Now, they have become the ones begging for attention. And you? You have become something much stronger than innocent. You have become untouchable, respected, and authoritative. One must understand this. Words are not always meant to clarify the truth. Sometimes they are meant to hide it, to blur it. When someone attacks you, they want you to fight an invisible entity. They want to drown you in emotional explanations because the more you explain, the less self-assured and weaker you look. Instead, let them fill the silence. What happens? They overdo it. They repeat themselves. They start to look desperate, emotional, unstable. You haven't said a thing, but now they are the ones being judged because people don't listen to what is said. They watch who is calm, who is shaken, who is weak. This is psychological control, and it doesn't come from being right. It comes from being untouchable. Let's say you are at a prestigious strategy conference. Someone is subtly undermining you. They are waiting for a reaction. They want you to take the bait. What does the ordinary person do? They get embarrassed and lower their head. They explain. They try to prove. They get needlessly tense. They smell this. But a mind that knows the game leans back, waits, maybe even smiles. And if they do speak, it is not a defense. It is a redirect. Then let's hear your brilliant strategy. Now the attacker has to perform, and the roles in the room are reversed. Because the silence of a confident person is an accusation without words. It is a method of cornering. In romantic or personal relationships, this situation is even more dangerous. Let's say your partner says, "You don't love me anymore." The ordinary person panics. They launch into explanations. But the strategic approach is specific. You do not argue. You let the uttered sentences just float into the void. Then you respond calmly, "I think you are being emotional and incorrect." Short, solid, no explanation. Now they cannot be sure. They question their own minds and emotions, because in that moment you held control of their minds, and whoever controls the mind always has the power. There is a stronger tactic. This one is even sharper. When accused, don't just stay calm. Disappear. If someone insults you, don't even respond. Use your absence as a mirror. Let them sit with the disgusting feeling of being ignored. This breaks people in two ways. First, they realize you didn't even deem them worthy of a response. Second, they start creating scenarios in their heads, and this usually destroys their calm. Why? Because the ordinary person survives on emotional validation. If you take this away from them, they wither, they enter a loop, and with every new attempt, they look weaker, more obsessive. While all this happens, you remain in perfect tranquility, and that is when you win. Not because you proved anything, but because they destroyed themselves trying to get a reaction from you. This is a master strategy. When attacked, instead of defending yourself, frame their accusation as a weakness. Someone says, "You're egotistical." Say, "It's strange how much confidence disturbs people." Someone says, "You're manipulative." Say, "People always say that when they are ineffective and can't accept it." You are not just refuting the accusation, you are turning it into their insecurity. Now, they will do anything to defend themselves. This isn't just a reversal. This is a strategic mind move. You used their emotional energy and turned it into their collapse. Let the attacker fall on their own sword. The world teaches you to defend your reputation, to explain yourself, to clear your name. But the true strategist sees the game. They know that the moment you chase innocence, you accept guilt. This is why the true strategist never plays this game. Instead, they appear too cool to be shaken, too lofty to care, too secure in their position to explain. And slowly, those trying to bring them down begin to look unstable, reactive, jealous, and weak. Because the more you defend, the more you look like you need defending. But the more you don't care, the more authoritative they assume you are. Remember, power is not hidden in defending yourself, but in being able to remain silent. Sentences protect the weak. Silence builds authority. Do not speak. Let them exhaust themselves with their own voices and collapse. Because the loudest sound doesn't always come from words, but from an authoritative and respected person.